Hey guys, started running fever when I got home, so we are doing a video sub plan here. Um, so I'm gonna be getting this worksheet out to you. Sub, please pass out that worksheet. If there happens to be no sub or you're not in my classroom, you should be opening up this document through your Canvas page. I'm going to link the assignment on the home page of um, of our Canvas page. That way, it's easy for you to find. Video is going to take you through some of these problems, so you get a little bit of practice, a little bit of instruction, and then you'll be finishing it up on your own. Okay. So, without further ado, let me get rid of my ugly mug. Peace, ugly mug. And let's start with number one. Okay, so first thing you need to do is a reminder. You always have to make this equal to 0. So there are different ways to do it. A lot of us have been doing these and moving the negative 3n squared to the right. Okay, and then we had to make sure that we put this in the correct order. So it's the n squared, so negative 3n squared, and then the n, negative 7n, and then plus 9. So now we have our ABC. A is negative 3, B is negative 7, C is 9, and we're going to be doing our quadratic formula. Okay, so plug it in. Negative of negative 7 plus or minus our square root of negative 7 squared minus 4, parentheses negative 3, parentheses 9, and this is all over 2 times negative 3. Our next step is to clean this up. Okay? So negative times negative 7 is positive 7. Oops, I forgot to. And equals. So we got 7 plus or minus. Underneath our square root sign, we have 157. And this is all over negative 6. Now, our next step is to check if this is a perfect square root. Now remember, this particular problem, we are going to be using exact form. So we check square root of 157 is not perfect, and we would try to break this down, but nothing comes out. So the only thing we have left to do is to write our two solutions. That equals 7 plus square root of 157 over negative 6, and 7 minus square root of 157 over negative 6. Okay, and those will be our two solutions. Now, what I want you to do is go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to complete number 2. Give yourself 3 minutes to complete number 2. Okay, for number 2, make sure we made it equal to 0, so minus 15. This should be 10n squared plus 9n minus 15 equals 0. So we got our a, b, and c. Let's plug it into our quadratic formula. We have n equals negative, parentheses, 9, plus or minus our square root of 9 squared minus 4 times 10 times negative 15. And this is all over 2 times 10. Clean it up. Negative 1 times 9 is negative 9. And then we figure out the inside of that square root. And I'm getting square root of 681. That's over 20. Now, I do check it if it's perfect, and that is not perfect. So I'm going to have to break this down. Okay, so notice that 681 can divide it by 3, and that's 227. That might be it. Yep. So there's nothing else. Okay, so nothing needs to be simplified, just like in the first one. So I just write my two answers. Negative 9 plus square root of 681 over 20, and negative 9 minus square root of 681 over 20. Those would be our two solutions. All right, let's look at number 3. You can just pause the video and take 3 minutes to do this problem. First thing is to make this is equal to 0. Make sure it's equal to 0. So I'm going to minus 12n on both sides. And I have to put this in the correct order. These were the ones that some of us were not putting in the correct order. This would be 2n squared, and then my n, so negative 12n plus 1 equals 0. If you don't have it in the right order, you're not going to have the right quadratic to put in the quadratic formula. So, quadratic formula now. N equals negative of negative 12 plus or minus square root of negative 12 squared minus 4 times 2 times 1. All over 2 times 2. Let's clean it up. Negative 1 times negative 12 is 12. My square root, I should have 136. And on the bottom, I should have a 4. Now, square root of 136 is not perfect, so I'm going to break it down. So this would be 2 and 68. 68 is 2 and 34, and 34 is 2 and 17. Okay, so I have 3 2s and a 17. So what can I get out of jail here? I can get one set of 2s, and then 2 times 17 is left inside. So let's rewrite this. I have 12 plus or minus 2 square root of 34 over 4. Remember, when we are able to simplify the square root, we then have to look at these 3 numbers. Okay, and with those 3, I can divide all of those by 2s. This becomes 6, 1, and 2. And I'm going to write my solutions. 6 plus 1 square root of 34 over 2, and 6 minus 1 square root of 34 over 2. Those would be our two solutions. Okay? Now, last one that I want to go over is not number 4, but is number 5. Okay, so for number 5, it says Eliza launched a potato from a platform. The quadratic function h of t equals negative 16t squared plus 100t plus 21 represents the height of the ball in feet t seconds after it's launched. We are answering the question, after how many seconds does the ball hit the ground? So remember, we're using the quadratic formula, and we are going to approximate. Okay, so first thing, ground is 0. So let's plug 0 in for the h of t, and we have our quadratic to start with. We'll plug it into our quadratic formula. T equals negative 100. This is no different than the other problems we just did. Square root of 100 squared minus 4 times negative 16 times 21. This is all over 2 times negative 16. Now the next line we do need to write is we're going to clean this up. Negative 1 times 100 is negative 100. Our square root number, let me type it in my calculator. 100 squared minus 4 times negative 16 times 21. And I get 11,344. On the bottom, I get negative 32. Now, there is no sense in trying to break this number down. Okay, we do not need to do this step because we are going to approximate. We don't need, okay, the exact solutions. We're going to get decimals. So at this point, I'm going to break up this plus or minus sign, and I'm going to use my calculator. Whether Desmos or scientific, I'm going to use my calculator to get my answers. Now make sure you put all of that on the top of the fraction. So I'm going to have negative 100 plus square root of 11,344 divided by negative 32. So this first solution I get is negative 0.203. I don't need this one because we don't measure seconds using negative values. Okay, and T is for seconds. My other one, change your plus sign to a minus sign, and I am getting 6.453. Rounding to the 100th here, so 4 or less, let it rest. So my answer is approximately 6.45 seconds. That's how long it took for the ball to get to the ground. Okay. Now, for the rest of these problems, okay, you need to finish them. Now, I am going to have the answer key for the sub to put up. I am going to need to do number 6 here real quick. So let me pause. All right. When you do number 6, I'm going to leave this up. The solution that you do get for that one is T equals 5.32. Remember, it's an approximation, approximately 5.32 seconds. Yeah, you got the rest of the answers right here, so make sure this is up. And let's go ahead and finish the worksheet. Remember, I expect to see the work just like I've shown you here on these problems. You can go back and refer to these different problems as your guide. Okay, but your work should look exactly like my work. All right. Hopefully, I'm feeling better soon, and I will see you guys hopefully on Thursday. All right, we'll see you later. Bye.